we just maybe start by telling you who we are, and I'll start off with myself. I'm William McDougall, and I started my life in England, and I came to Australia about 12 years ago. And in those days I was a civil engineer and transport planner, and I travelled around Australia a fair bit, lived in Perth and Melbourne and Brisbane, and then I went to Sydney. And at about that time I had a big personal awakening and a big spiritual awakening of my own. And then in the years that followed in Sydney, about 5 years ago I think was the first time I met Olivia. But it was really only 4 years or 3.5 years ago that we actually got together, and we came together, and the thing that really transformed my life was Olivia's vision and Olivia's love for the dolphins and whales. And together we decided to rekindle that love that she has and to create the society, which is our, if you like, branch of this global network in Sydney. And for me it's just been an incredible journey, an incredible 3.5 years so far. I just know that we're going to go on and do more incredible things together and with all the other people and with the support of everybody that's involved in this wonderful network of people. And as other people have said, there's so much that we have to look forward to with people like you involved. So I'd like to ask Olivia to say a few words about herself and her journey.
I just want briefly to mention 3 dates for me. In 1975, I was young and I had the privilege to be with dolphins and whales in the south of France. I had the chance to have 2 big brothers who were really in the water, and we lived in the water. 1975, I had also a heart surgery, and so that was an important time. In 1980, I made the choice to come to Australia. As William said, I had a very strong call to come to this country because of the spirituality. And when I arrived in Sydney, the dolphin came to Sydney. I had a swim with the dolphin that night, that day in Sydney, which was quite a good reconnection with them. I should say also that I left Europe because in Mediterranean, where I come from, the sea was dead. I mean, the sea was empty. And I saw that there was a chance in Australia to find a place where we could, again, save the environment. I mean, if in Europe there is a lot of things to do, but in Australia there might be a way where we can learn and relearn to co-inhabit with nature. I did a lot of study. I have a Ph.D. in psychology, and when I had this swim with a dolphin, I was doing a business degree. And at that time it was difficult to share with people, people who are doing finance and accounting and all that, to just share, okay, swimming with dolphins, there is something special, you really feel relaxed. So at that time I still finished my MBA. I became a management consultant. I was doing a lot of work, and my work was always about change, how to facilitate, how to help people to get into their full potential. And in 1993, at that time I just followed my dream, which was to be again with the dolphins. And I realized that this time I was not going to miss the 3rd call. This time I just finished everything, resigned from everywhere, even my relationship, and start the Dolphin project, which was to find out what's the connection between human and dolphin, and how to find a methodology to document it, and to be able to bridge between the scientific world and maybe non-scientific world. I don't really like boxes like Jacques, and with my background I thought that maybe I could help this bridge. So we are going to show you a film which show you what we do in terms of research. It's called research, and it's completely different maybe from what people can do in a lab or in a pool. Our first principle is that the dolphins are in the wild. We are talking about learning about freedom, learning about our full potential, and it's completely against our principle to do it in captivity. So if we could have the first film.
Yeah, if we could have the lights down and the sound up for the first film, thanks.
It's a tour. Saving people from drowning, and more recently reports of the marine mammals helping humans to
This was
overcome
October
depression.
'96.
Pioneering work with wild dolphins on Australia's east coast is helping us to understand these phenomena. Christopher Zinn joins some people who not only believe swimming with dolphins produces healing effects, they want to prove it.
A lot of people believe in the therapeutic power of dolphins. But apart from wishful thinking, is there really anything in it?
They have always made me feel uplifted and happy and joyous just to have them around.
Ken Davis's soothing sounds make him one of the top-selling musos in Australia. He is a self-confessed dolphin fan, and his latest CD followed a dolphin experience which literally blew him away.
I was already sort of pretty blissed out, but everybody else, I mean, we had a couple of stressed out corporate people. I saw the results and it was truly wonderful.
Ken went swimming with wild dolphins at Port Stephens, north of Newcastle. The theory is that a close encounter with them can have a big effect on your life.
And we will do it again tomorrow after the dolphin, so we will see where the dolphin helps you to go.
Dr. Olivia de Bergerac wants to prove the point with science.
And when you start to relax, it produces more of the red, which is alpha, and then more deeply still, theta, which is the yellow, okay?
And working with partner William McDougall, they're measuring brain waves before and after contact.
And through the research, we realized that, people started to be in touch with their creativity, starting to do things they really want to do. They resign. I mean, we both resign, They just start to do what they really want to do.
So to see if their theory holds water, with 2 volunteers, we joined them.
We can't guarantee that we're going to swim with dolphins. We just know that we go for 2 days and we live with them.
On board the Sirius is 4th-year medical student Tamara McCain. She suffers chronic pain from curvature of the spine.
That's the divorce, sort of all of us no longer.
We're asked to draw pictures of our lives as rivers, to see where we're coming from.
And then I had the car accident, and that's me. I was on the ground for a while.
And there is former street kid Mel Budd, unemployed and doing it tough.
I picked SAD for a reason because I'm a bit upset about my family because they're not accepting me for what I am now, and they don't believe that I've changed, and they still think I'm this little brat that runs around and kicks everyone in the shins and bites them and things like that.
Both have their needs, and neither seems the gullible sort. So we set sail for what's billed as a voyage of inner discovery. Olivia and William run the non-profit Dolphin Within Society. Through the internet, their work is attracting attention around the world. But just what is the dolphin within?
The dolphin within, it's a kind of state of consciousness or a brain pattern, which is usually quite difficult to reach. But with dolphin, it's possible.
In the past 2 years, they've helped many, including the disabled, have a dolphin experience of a lifetime.
With the dolphin, you just feel very clear about who you are, what's your purpose on Earth. There is this kind of connection where you say, wow, that's me, It's an experience of I am.
A lot of people find this very new age and just difficult to understand.
We are not new age. I mean, from our background, we are very scientific, and William is engineer.
I mean, we're trying, as Olivia says, to demystify some of the things and the ideas and the stories. People have there's a lot of hype, if you like, around dolphins.
After all our tests, there's not much time left for the dolphins, so we find a safe anchorage for the night. What do you think the dolphins might be able to do for you?
Maybe they might be able to broaden my perspective of life, I suppose. Instead of me looking through one door, I can look through a few doors.
Why did you want to come?
I thought it might be good for me in terms of being able to control my stress and my pain levels.
But on day 2, Port Stephens is barely a port in the storm.
A gale warning's just been issued, and this is hardly the ideal weather for a dolphin encounter, but we're keeping up the search.
Then suddenly, it happens.
When the dolphins were coming towards us, it was amazing. They just went up over the ocean and straight underneath the boat. They were going so fast.
The meeting was momentary, and some were too seasick to witness it, but the reaction was immediate.
And all of a sudden there they were, and I think I nearly fell over with excitement. I thought, oh my God, I'm going in. And I didn't care. I just was having so much fun, I didn't care.
I thought it was great. It was like a really big giant rush went straight through my body, all this tingly feeling, you know, like I can't really explain it. You know, it's just the most wonderful feeling I've ever had in my life to see something like that.
We take refuge in a bay. And learn to swim not just with the dolphins, but like them too.
If we can bottle whatever it is the dolphins provide, then maybe that's, you know, going to be a very important thing to use in therapy. I mean, we don't want to spend all our time bringing people to the dolphins because, you know, it's not fair on the dolphins.
We look out. The dolphins seem to have run for cover. However, in the recovery spa, there is little sign of disappointment.
We had a brief glimpse, but it's more about getting into their world, you know, what it's like to be in the dolphins' world, what it's like to be a dolphin ourselves.
So it just helps me, it makes my mind more clear on the right decision to make instead of the wrong decision to make.
Do you think the dolphins will help you do that in some way?
In some way, yeah.
Seeing them and being so exhilarated and so happy was really quite uplifting, and that takes you away from the pain anyway. So it was good in that sense.
Would you recommend it to anyone else?
Oh, definitely, absolutely, no hesitation. I think it's amazing.
There will be dolphin skeptics who claim it would never happen to them, to which the Society says it's not about believing, but experiencing.
We just say, come and experience it and see what you think. It's not about just believing in anything. It's about finding out for yourself. It's experiential. Okay, stop it now, thanks.
As you see in the film, we have different ways. We capture the process or the event through films, through the drawing, and also the brainwave. I have to explain a little bit about Mel, the young girl who was on the boat, the street kid. It's not on the film because, of course, it's never on film. But around the fire that night, she stood up in front of all of us, and she started to say why in the morning when she wakes up, she doesn't like this world, and she can't get out of the bed, and she just doesn't want to live in that world. And the journalist just asked, are you thinking that one day you will have kids? And she said, no, I will not. And then suddenly she looked at us and she said, I had 2 kids. I had one when I was 14 and one when I was 16. And I've never seen them, and I will never see them. And then she looked at us in her eyes and she said, the first one was from my father, and the second one from my brother. And what I would like to say as a psychologist is when the human relationship has been destroyed that much, as a human, it's very difficult to repair. And on the boat, what's happened is that the dolphin helps the human to have a hope, to have a connection with something which is not human, because it's beyond human. So they connect with the dolphins. And on the boat, we behave like dolphins. So there is a lot of love and self-acceptance and unconditional love between us. So the dolphin helps them to believe that it's possible to trust again. And then they are able to come back to the human and to operate again and to think about another way. So the morning after that campfire, Mel told me, and everything happened, but it's not structured, it's not interviewed, it just happened during the trip. So I was cleaning the beach, I always clean the beach in the morning, and she was talking, and she told me, you know, Olivia, I just didn't know that that world exists. I can live in that world. And since then, she has a job, and she's happy, and she's coming back. So we had many experiences like that. We had, and as a girl, the same. I mean, we have 300 people coming. So, and as a girl, this time she was sexually abused by her mom, you know. And when she shared it in front, you know, of the group, she shared it, and 2 minutes later, a mother dolphin came with a baby. I mean, on our side, we know the dolphin work with us, you know, the synchronicity is just incredible. And she saw this mother, and she said, you know, I have a new mother. And she went swimming. That since that time, we know that she had been back to her mother. She had never talked to her mother since that time, and she has reconnected with her mother, and they have a good relationship. So that's the kind of work we like to do. But I would like also to add that on the boat, we talk about the dream. You know, we focus, we say that dolphin is about the dream. But before we can talk about the dream, people have to share first the pain. So the first day we found ways where people share the pain, and it could be through a drawing, it could be through a sharing around the campfire. It doesn't need they don't even need to tell me, I prefer, but they can tell somebody else on the boat. So once the pain is shared, then they can move on the dream. So that's the process we create, we facilitate with the dolphins. As you could see on the film, it doesn't even need that the people swim with them. There is something happening in the energy in the boat. People don't need to swim with the dolphin in a way. So I'm sorry to be so emotional.
We'll move on to the next film, which is going back in time a bit. It goes back to the first year that we were really doing this, before we had our boat series that you saw in that first film. And this is a film about Roger. So I'd like to take it away. Thanks.
They're often referred to as people of the sea because of their intelligence and their apparent ability to display human feelings. For example, compassion they appear to have for physically or mentally handicapped children. There are endless accounts of miracle-like cures. When people come in close contact with dolphins, they react deeply.
Basically, it was a childhood dream of mine come true.
I've never been able to swim with the dolphins. What does it feel like?
It's almost worth the accident, but not quite.
Researchers all over the world have been studying the dolphin forever to try and measure their intelligence.
So now let's see if it does not hit. Okay.
Now, an Australian research program is going one step further to measure the impact of dolphins on people. Dr. Olivia de Bergerac, a psychotherapist, is founder of the Dolphin Within Society. She says there are many stories about dolphin powers, but few are scientifically proven.
We have a lot of stories, and what we try is to get some scientific research with scientific equipment which could maybe give sense of what people say.
Olivia studies the interaction of dolphins with people. Roger Mackenzie is about to have his first close experience with these animals.
They're very close.
What is special about his experience is that he's blind, and Olivia believes the dolphins will sense there's something different about Roger. Roger, too, senses a strange rapport with what he calls these friendly ghosts.
I've always thought that they have an extra sense that humans don't have, and without being able to talk to them, they just know there's something different.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
You can hear them, no? Yeah, it's very noisy.
So Olivia, with Roger's help, is trying to find out the truth about dolphins. Make or break the myths, if you like, which is no easy task. But of course, these creatures will always maintain a certain mystique. Olivia conducts tests on Roger before and after his dolphin experience.
when you grew up, in a way, did you have any disease or suffer?
Yeah.
She will re-examine him a couple of months from now. She also wants to do blood tests in her people experiments to assess whether there's any endorphin release. For 2 days, the dolphins at Port Stephens swam around Roger. His ears were filled with their sounds. And later one evening, Roger has told me he had a long emotional release.
This is spooky.
David, thanks. It's not
I briefly tell you Roger's story because I feel I've been the witness of many stories and my role is to share them. Roger was not blind when he was born. He had a disease when he was 14. And what happened when on the boat, he was very excited the first day because the TV was there and his girlfriend was there. And the second day he started to be very much inside and he was no longer talking, and he started to be in touch with this pain which has been with him for so many years, but he had never shared or found a way to release the emotion. And he started crying. Fortunately, nobody, I saw it, but the crew didn't see it. And he also cried a lot the second day. And the dolphins were helping him in a way in terms of releasing. You know, when you have a pain, if you haven't found a way to release it, it stays with you for your life. So that process has been observed many times with some people, and I might mention that people go and see dolphins. It's not, some people do cry, some people go into a very emotional state. And it's very important to stay with and to follow and to go with it. And they are just helping you to be free of the grief. In our research, we have identified what we call dolphin within patterns, 10 different patterns of behavior, if you want, human behavior in contact with dolphins. And the first one is this kind of emotional release of grief or pain. The second one we can talk about was male, when they get free of sexual abuse or memory of the past. Another one, it's about phobia of water. A lot of people get really free of any fear of the sea, sharks, and often it's people who have been traumatized in their childhood, an accident. I don't know if William wants to share.
Well, yeah, when I was about 3, and this is something that's happened since I met Olivia, all of this for me, but when I was about 3, I had a very bad experience in the water off the beach in England, and I was just in very shallow water. I stumbled and I lost my footing, and I remember it to this day, the complete feeling of disorientation. I didn't know to shut my mouth, and I wasn't a water baby. And I just remember the shock of that and total disorientation. And for many years after that, right up until my first experience with a dolphin, every time I went near the water, and I love the water, I love swimming, and I can't swim properly, I never used to be able to. But my chest would just lock up like a drum every time I went in the water, and there was no way I could breathe properly. I just couldn't relax in the water. And it was really the first experience with the dolphins which opened up a new world for me of what the marine world is really like. And it wasn't a place of fear and a place of phobias and so on as it had been for me, but a place of magnificence, and it was just beautiful to be able to go down and see it all, and it's just changed. That's transformed me, it's transformed my life. And that's a very good example of this other pattern that Olivia mentions, the freedom from phobia.
We have seen many people doing that. I mean, we run questionnaire before and after, so we know exactly what the situation with the people, so we can assess. And often the people who can't swim, the people who have this fear, are the first one who jump in. And on the psychological side, in terms of attitude, it's quite amazing in terms of breakthrough. You know, what's happening to these humans who are supposed to be in fear, who are the first to jump in. So another pattern I want to mention is the physical pain. The lady was, the young student, the medical student, was mentioning that when they are with them, the physical pain is gone. We also have creativity. As you saw, Ken Davis was on the boat with us, and he also mentioned that after he had much more creativity to create another series. And we have many people tapping into their creativity after dolphin encounters, writing poems, and we have people who have changed their life, many people. And we also have a lot of experience of people talking about this unconditional love, and we have on our boat sometimes families, and again we can call it family therapy. We bring the family and we observe what's happening. Two patterns. The first one is sometimes they really go into this unconditional love and stay together for life. Otherwise, they might just separate. In that case, people divorce or separate, but it's always very amicable. There is no fight, but they just realize that they're not supposed to be together always, and they do it in a beautiful way, in terms of giving freedom to the other one or to themselves to follow their truth. So we have documented this.
Is that a good point to lead into the next film?
Yes.
Because of that, we had the privilege, again through iSearch, through Kamala and Takako, in fact, to host a Japanese film crew from Nippon TV who came to do a special on us and on other interactions between science and nature around the world. And they also, again, with Kamala's help and with Bill Smith, the Japanese people came to meet the Aboriginal people as well. And you'll see on this film, first of all, their visit with us, and then followed by that, the interaction that they had with Bill Smith, and which Bill has mentioned, I think, already. It was a very, very special experience for all of us, this particular trip, and the film that comes out of it is in Japanese, which will please the Japanese interpreters, and the others of you will get the meaning of it anyway, because it's just the story comes through. So I'd like to carry on with the last film, thanks.
海は生命の源、もう一つの宇宙。リリーは人間と交信する最初の生き物は海の生き物だと予言しました。高度な知能を持つと言われる海の哺乳類イルカ。彼らは人間に語りかけてくれるのでしょうか。旅人はイルカとの交流を求め旅立ちました。
私のこの辺がね、ちょっとワクワクするんですよ。なんか野生の感がちょっと戻りつつあるのかなって。
赤い砂漠の続くオーストラリア。目指すのはシドニーの北200キロにあるポートスティーブンス。ここでは人間とイルカが不思議な交流を続けているといいます。心に傷を負った人々をイルカと泳ぐことで癒すイルカセラピーに3年前から取り組んでいる人たちがいるのです。
Olivia, and this is William.
How do you do? Welcome.
今回一緒にセラピーを受けるのは2人。トーマス君は幼い時に母親から虐待を受け、その心の傷を癒すために参加しました。元看護婦のマリオンさんは乳がんに侵され10年近く闘病を続けてきました。がんは骨に転移し、医者からは余命3ヶ月と宣告されました。残りの日々をどう生きればいいのか、深い絶望感に苛まれセラピーの門を叩きました。イルカと泳ぐことが人間にどのような変化をもたらすのか、ここではその影響を分析するため、まず泳ぐ前の脳波を記録します。泳いだ後にこの脳波がどのように変化するのでしょうか。いよいよイルカの海に出発。魚の豊富なこの湾には100頭近い野生のイルカが群れを作って暮らしています。バンドウイルカが次々に姿を現しました。 旅人は初めての体験に挑戦。野生のイルカを追い回すのではなく、彼らが興味を持ってくれるまで待つのが大切とオリビアさんは言います。好奇心の強いイルカたちがだんだん近づいてきました。耳を澄ますとかすかに彼らの会話が聞こえてきます。イルカたちの住む海の中は音の世界。彼らは人間の7倍も優れた聴覚を持ち、さまざまな音を使い分けて暮らしています。クリックスと呼ばれる高周波の音を発し、その反響で対象の形を知ったり、ホイッスルと呼ばれる低周波の音で互いのコミュニケーションを取り合っています。これらの超音波が人間の体に何らかの良い影響を与えているのではないかと考える研究者もいます。
幸せ。本当に声優しい気持ちになるの。なんかって聞こえてくるんだけど、心の中に響いてくるっていうの、ここに聞こえてくるんじゃなくて、なんか内側にピーンって響く音っていう感じ。
目の前にイルカたちを見ながら、なぜかマリオンさんは海に入ろうとしません。
あ、ほらマリオンあんな近くにいるんだもん。ほら
しかし彼女はなかなか踏み切れないようです。その時、一頭の赤ちゃんイルカが船に近づいてきました。遊ぼうよ。そんな風にマリオンさんの目に映ったのかもしれません。彼女は船から身を乗り出してイルカを見ました。そしてイルカの待つ海に入っていきます。大人のイルカたちも次第にマリオンさんに近づいてきました。イルカは傷ついた人の心を読む能力があるという人もいます。ごく自然に心を受け止め、無邪気に仲間に入れてくれたイルカたちの声はマリオンさんの胸にどんな風に響いたのでしょうか。プログラムの仕上げ、イルカと泳いだあの時の気分を思い出しながら脳波の測定をします。マリオンさんの脳波は泳ぐ前に比べ泳いだ後、周波数が全体的に低い方に移行しました。これは人間が深い瞑想状態に入ると起こる現象と同じで、心が安らいでいるのがわかります。高木さんの場合、泳ぐ前に比べるとリラックスの目安になるアルファ波が大量に出るようになりました。またアメリカの研究によると、イルカセラピー後は左脳と右脳の脳波が同じ状態になり、これは人間にとって最もリラックスした状態になっていることを示しています。
海に入りイルカと遊ぶことで脳がリラックスし幸福感をもたらすのです。それが精神的肉体的癒しにつながっていくのだと考えています。そして脳はその状態を新しい良い記憶として蓄積し、必要な時に呼び出すことができるのです。
イルカと泳いだ後、マリオンさんやトーマス君にも笑顔が戻りました。
私の中で何かが変わった気がするの。残された時間でまだやらなければならない重要なことがあるように思えてきたのです。まだ自信はないんだけれど、他の人々に 自分のこれまでの人生経験を伝えることをやっていこうと思うのです。
あなたの病気治るって信じてます。バイ。すごく出会えた嬉しさ、なんか異様に感じてます。
オーストラリアにはイルカが与えてくれる力を太古から知り、イルカと助け合って生きてきた人々がいます。彼らはイルカを呼ぶことができると言います。
どうやってイルカ呼ぶんだろう。
オーストラリアの先住民アボリジニの人々、彼らはイルカと共に魚を取ってきました。
Nice to meet you.
我らの大地へようこそ。空も海も歓迎しています。
彼らの伝説によれば、イルカも人間も同じ魂から生まれた。だから魂の言葉を音に変え、水の波動に乗せて通わせれば、イルカは魚を連れてやってくると言います。旅人も参加。この化粧は自然と一体となることを意味しています。
似合う。
私たちの祖先はかつてこうやって森羅万象の命に語りかけていました。目を閉じ、母なる海の音に耳を澄ませて、遠い祖先の記憶をたどります。
あ、ほら、来た来た来た。
イルカが現れました。ここでは人間とイルカが確かに交信し合っています。もしかしたら太古、人間はもっと自由に生き物たちと交信していたのではないでしょうか。
すごいね、本当にダイレクトに伝わっちゃうのね。
いつかこんな風に宇宙の生命や他の生き物たちとも交流できるようになるとしたら、それは巨大なパラボラアンテナの科学の力なのでしょうか。あるいは私たち自身の中で眠っている遠い命の記憶が目覚める時なのでしょうか。
いやー、すごくいい表情なさってます。いや、もう本当にね、ずっと感動しっぱなしだったんですよ。
本当にイルカとこうやって泳ぐことで、どうして脳がリラックスできるのかすごい不思議ですね。
余計なこと本当に考えなくなるんですよ。
一種テレパシーみたいな。
そうですね、ほとんどで、その本当にイルカの声ってね、さっきも耳で聞こえるんですけど、絶対的に耳で聞いてるはずなんですけど、ここにねダイレクトに来るんですよ。すごくって感じになって、あと懐かしいっていう気持ちになるんですよ。なんかすごく。
でもよく考えたら、もう変な話っていうかね、ペットをとっても、
I briefly tell you Saya, it was Saya from Japan. Her story, she wrote to us after the film, and she said that when she came to Australia, she had a partner. I mean, she had no partner. She was very famous and had lots of money, but she had left her partner 2 years before because they had different values and different stories. And after the dolphin encounters and after staying with Bill, because they had also a night on site with Bill, she said that she reconnected with her spirit, and when she went back to Japan, she met again an ex-partner, and they get together. And they are back together. She realized that she had changed and he has changed, and they are together. So we always follow up with people. We have 3 years now of data, and we always connect. We always say we are friends for life. So we know the story of the people following the program.
Well, now the time's getting on, and we're encroaching into your meal time. So thank you very much for your attention. But
who wants to stay?
there's a few more things we want to cover.
You are keen to stay a little bit or not? Yes?
Yes.
But I was thinking in terms of explaining the brain research, rather than give you a slide, we could have a little experimentation and having maybe someone coming to the machine. So it takes 5 minutes, yeah? Yes?
Okay.
Because then I can explain to you where the dolphins are helping us in terms of brain, you know, because that's what we want to explain or to help or to give to the dolphin tribe in the world. You saw that people were talking about, you know, something in the heart, something on feeling happy, something, all what we have seen, in fact, can be explained with the brain. We also know that it's more than just the brain. Huh? There is something on the energy level which is happening. You know, we talk a lot about the life force or the prana and the energy field we have all around us, and it's clear that something happened on the heart chakra. Huh? But the brain is also quite an amazing discovery. If you want, we wanted to find out what the dolphins are helping us, because we always said on the boat we don't train the dolphin, you know, we train the human. And we discovered that, you know, it's simple. When people are with dolphins for 2 days, they don't need alcohol, they don't need to smoke, they don't need to fight, they don't need to have fear. It's quite special. So in fact there is a state of consciousness which is quite precious if we could be in that state all the time. So the brain machine is very simple. We have an EEG machine. It's 4 minutes we record open eyes and 4 minutes closed eyes. And people can experience it and use their own way of meditation or relaxation before the encounter. And then we measure after the encounter and see if there is a shift. We haven't done straight away a lot of quantitative analysis because we wanted to really go into qualitative and really assess everyone, compare everyone before and after. We don't compare people with each other, we compare people with themselves. It's just one electrode. We have a very simple machine, but we have already a lot of data with just one electrode. And I just want to add that if tonight, at the session with Peter, more people want to have a go, we will be very happy to share that. So you're going to see on the screen, alive, direct, this person's brain operating. It's read only, which means that we are not broadcasting anything into the brain, we are just reading the electricity from the brain.
Yeah. I just changed the graph to make it a bit easier to explain everything. Right. Okay, so the signal at the top of the screen, the white trace, is the raw signal. What's your name?
Chris.
Chris, of course, I know. I've met you before. This is Chris's brain, everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
Now, the bottom just shows how the screen is, how that raw signal is divided up into different frequencies, and you can see its frequency across the bottom with the hertz at the very right-hand side there. And the colours just represent the different frequency ranges which the scientists have named. Some of these names you've probably heard of: beta, alpha, theta. And basically, on this graph anyway, the beta is everything from the green sector right. So it's the green, the blue, and so on. That's all beta. And that's the faster frequencies which the brain produces when there's more thinking and action going on, response to stimuli and so on. The red sector, 8 to 12 hertz, is alpha. And a lot of people, when first started doing research into brain patterns and electrical activity in the brain, they realized that alpha was associated with relaxation, and it's generally regarded as the, well, I think in the 60s a lot of people were doing lots of different things to try and get into alpha, for example. The area that's interesting to us, we're interested in the alpha. We're also very interested in the next one to the left, which is the yellow area, which is called theta, 4 to 8 cycles per second. And the theta is particularly interesting because we know from research, in fact from Dr. John Lilly's research, that dolphins' brains produce a lot of theta, and they seem to spend a lot of time in theta. And work that's been done with people who do a lot of meditation, yogis and other people, has shown that theta is also, that they produce a lot of theta too. And theta is associated with a particular mind state which goes beyond the relaxed mind, the freedom from thoughts of the red, down into a much more intuitive, creative, and much deeper space, where in fact, amongst other things, the brain produces a lot of spontaneous images, and you have spontaneous images being formed in the mind. Usually theta is associated with dreaming when we're asleep, for example. Now, Chris, I just want to ask you to relax and close your eyes, if you wouldn't mind, for a little while. Look at the red area. Thanks, Chris. You can come back now. You saw there when Chris closed his eyes and just went inside a little bit that the alpha started to show a lot more peaks in the alpha. Now that's a very, very common phenomenon. But we've seen that when we've put people on the machine before and after a dolphin experience, even people who do a lot of meditation and get into the alpha range quite easily, that after a dolphin trip, when we put them on the machine, we ask them to close their eyes and we ask them to revisit some of the experiences they had of the weekend, particularly images of dolphins or images of anything that was important to them over the 2 days. And we've found in many cases that there is a strong correlation between that particular state of mind and an increase in the yellow, the theta. So we feel that we are showing, and people report, you know, even to the point of saying, well, yes, it was at a particular stage in that 4-minute time that I suddenly reconnected with a dream I had or an image I had of the dolphins over the weekend. And when we've looked at the graph, we were able to see the kick up in the theta that comes through. We've now recorded something like 120 people, I guess, on this machine, and we've got a lot of, we need a bit more before we can do some more statistical analysis, but mostly our work so far has been on the case studies to show the different effects. Anyway, that was really just to give you a bit of an idea of that side of things.
All the research on theta in the world without dolphin shows that when people are in that state, they have no fear, they have no addiction, they have no grief, and they are also free of accessing memories. Remember, this morning we were talking about accessing memories. So that's where our memories are stored. And when we talk about the future, you know, that's where we are going. I mean, the dolphins are here to help us to go there. And we could live non-stop in that world if we want. The other important result we had was that people who are back to the machine months after re-access the state. So that's why also we call it dolphin within. For us, it's not about touching a dolphin. It's not about even swimming with a dolphin. It's about having this experience of that state, because once you have it, you can have it for life. And the brain knows how to get back. So we follow with our people, and the student, for example, if they have an exam, before the exam they go into their dolphin memory and get relaxed for the exam. So I would like just to mention that there is another state which people have reached. It's not the majority of people go into theta, but there is another state which is called awakened mind. In that case, you have all the brainwave high, which means that not only you are relaxed and peaceful in very deep meditation, but you are also very, very focused. It's the future, which means that, you know, the Zen master are that state, and that's where we can all go. Yeah.
Okay. We need to just finish off here, so perhaps if I free Chris first, if you like. Thank you very much. It has actually a possibility for 2 channels, but we only use one with what we're doing.
The technology is used to give us feedback. You know, once you have the feedback, you know where your brain goes when you do certain things, then you can reproduce it, and that's the aim. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.